Greece may transfer up to 32 F-16 Block 30 fighter jets to Ukraine, Le Monde reports. Earlier, it was planned that these aircraft would be sold to the US for modernization and then delivered to Ukraine. However, so far, the US has not transferred a single F-16, even from its reserves. Greece has consistently supported Ukraine since the war's onset. Days after the invasion began, the country sent 2 C-130 planeloads of military equipment to Ukraine. This early support prompted criticism from the Russian embassy in Athens, which called on Greek politicians to come to their senses and stop anti-Russian propaganda. Now, reports indicate that 32 of the aircraft could be headed to Ukraine, where they will eventually join others donated by Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Norway. The Netherlands and Denmark promised in August 2023 to jointly provide Ukraine with 61 American F-16 fighter jets. This was preceded by a transfer authorization from the United States. Norway also sent its F-16s. Belgium also provided Ukraine with F-16s. The Netherlands announced its decision to begin preparations for the first 18 aircraft transfer to Ukraine in December of 2023, and later increased this number to 24. In total, the country has promised Kiev 42 fighters.
On the first day of the invasion, Russian troops captured the Chernobyl nuclear power plant and held it for over a month. During this occupation, incidents of looting and violations of radiation safety protocols were reported. From the outset of the full-scale war, the Russians made it clear that they would resort to any means necessary to achieve their aggressive goals, even if it risked a global catastrophe. Additionally, Russia has been holding Europe's largest nuclear plant, the Zaporizhzhia NPP, hostage for nearly 3 years, with periodic emergencies occurring there. Espresso TV recalls that on the night of February the 14th, a Russian attack drone with an explosive warhead struck a shelter over the 4th power unit of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. A fire broke out but was quickly extinguished. While the damage to the protective structure was significant, the radiation level remained within normal limits. President Volodymyr Zelensky described the attack as another greeting from Putin. The recent drone strike on the Chernobyl dome serves as another alarming sign of the terrorist threat posed by Russia. The drone flew at an altitude of 85 meters, allowing it to evade radar detection. This suggests that the strike on the Chernobyl sarcophagus was deliberate, not accidental. Furthermore, the wreckage of the drone and its serial number confirms its Russian origin. It was a Geranium-2, Russia's version of the Iranian Shahed. As expected, the Kremlin denied the attack, dismissing reports of a strike on the Chernobyl nuclear power plant as provocations before the Munich conference. However, experts point out that this is a typical Russian tactic, accusing Ukraine of actions they themselves are responsible for. This is a provocation by Russia ahead of the Munich conference. A drone carrying a high-explosive bomb deliberately targeted a shelter facility. Moreover, it struck an area not above the destroyed 4th reactor unit, where an old shelter still exists and needs to be dismantled, said Ola Koshana, an expert on nuclear energy and safety, in an interview with Espresso. Although this strike did not cause an increase in radiation levels, which can be monitored online here, any damage to the protective structures of the Chernobyl NPP carries potentially catastrophic risks. When these structures were designed, they did not account for the possibility of drones carrying mines being fired at them. It was designed to withstand extreme events like severe weather, but it would not survive a missile strike. Simon Evans, former head of the Shelter Fund, remarked a few years ago. The sarcophagus was constructed over the decaying old shelter, which was built over the destroyed reactor containing the effects of the remaining radioactive materials. If the structure becomes unstable, it could lead to a collapse and the release of radiation, posing a threat not only to Ukraine but also to neighboring countries. The drone strike has compromised the integrity of the Chernobyl shelter, meaning that new engineering and technical solutions will be necessary to repair it, along with funding to patch the damaged shell. According to Ukrainian military and political observer Alexander Kovalenko, Russia's military transport aviation is facing a severe crisis, with a combination of outdated equipment, production failures, and technical challenges undermining its effectiveness. He says that the Russian situation was made more apparent since the start of the war against Ukraine. While attention has mostly focused on tactical aviation, transport plays a crucial role in supplying the troops. The key factor is operational efficiency, and the question arises, how effective is Russia's transport aviation? The main aircraft is the Il-76, and despite having 130 such planes in 2022, their operational reliability is lacking, with only 60% in working condition due to the absence of regular maintenance and upgrades. This has led to a high rate of failures and losses, both in combat and from Ukrainian drone strikes. Production capabilities for a new Il-76s are limited. The Ulyanovsk factory has only delivered 20 Il-76MD 90A units in recent years. This is due to low technological capacity and defects in production, such as engine problems. Additionally, the project for a lighter military transport aircraft, the Il-112V, intended to replace older models, failed due to technical issues. Even with the new design, there were significant defects, including faulty engines and aerodynamic problems, leading to a crash in 2021. As a result, Russia's transport aviation suffers from a lack of quality aircraft, and the absence of Western technologies worsens the crisis. Currently, producing new aircraft is impossible, and modernizing existing ones faces serious obstacles. Recall between the naval force, which very unexpectedly managed to destroy 20% of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, and ground forces facing significant challenges in the Donbass, the Ukrainian Air Force is at a pivotal moment. Ill-prepared and suffering from a huge disadvantage in numbers, at the start of the invasion, it nevertheless inflicted severe losses on Russian air forces even before the arrival of American F-16 fighter jets. Since the beginning of the year, 2 A-50 surveillance aircraft and an Il-22 command aircraft have been shot down by Ukrainian anti-aircraft systems. These had been stealthily advanced close to the front line, surprising the Russians. Subsequently, more than a dozen Russian Su-34 fighter bombers and at least one Su-35 fighter were shot down by the same systems, according to the Ukrainian General Staff.